Hi everybody, it's the RetroYuuki. In this tutorial series, we're going to be talking about Lunar Magic, ROM hacks, and how to get started with making your very own ROM hack for the first time. This will go into beginner material so that it's beginner friendly, and we can go over how the series will be broken down in this video series. First off, let's take a look at what we're covering in this presentation. What are emulators, ROMs, and ROM hacks? I'm going to give you an example of ROM hacks played on this particular channel. Just so happens that tonight I'm live with a ROM hack tonight. I'm going to introduce you to Lunar Magic. I'm going to show you guys some sample maps I made with Project Yuuki in Lunar Magic. And I'm going to explain what you need for the next tutorial, because in the next video series, we're going to go right into ROM hack making. So what is an emulator? An emulator is a piece of software on Mac and PC or an Android phone that allows you to play classic games from Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, and more on said device. Pictured to your right is Dolphin Emulator for those of you who like GameCube and Nintendo Wii, and Project 64, which is for Nintendo 64 games. Emulation started back in 1993 with an NES emulator, and then was brought more into 1994 to 1998 with a Sega Genesis emulator. And newer system emulators like the Nintendo Switch and PS4 started development in the last few years. And there's already a Nintendo Switch emulator and a Nintendo 3DS emulator. I actually showed off Nintendo 3DS emulator Citra a few weeks ago. But what are ROMs and what does it mean? ROM stands for read-only memory, which means that anything written programmed into said software can't be added to, subtracted from, or edited from without the use of a third-party software. For example, Lunar Magic is a third-party software that allows you to make stuff for Super Mario World, and we're going to take a look at Lunar Magic in this series. And pictured on your right are ROMs, or games. Now, the reason why they're called ROMs is because these are whatever is in there you can't edit without a third-party software. Super Mario World is the base game, Tales of Graces is the base game, and Super Mario Sunshine is considered a base ROM. So what are ROM hacks in this case? ROM hacks are games made using a software that is based with assets from original games. Most of the time, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, and other Mario games have hacks made for them. You have seen me play through them. Ironically, tonight we're showing off Super Mario Universe by HandDog30. Picture to the right, top right, and we just played through for you guys Super Luigi Land. So these are two of many ROM hacks created by the community in the very last few years. These take a very long time to make. Think of this as an actual game development practice. Like seriously, I'll show you what I mean in a moment. So ROM hacks and emulation. How ROM hacks work with emulators. ROM hacks can be played on emulators provided that you also have a ROM hack patcher like Flips for SNES 9X, and we'll take a look at Flips in this tutorial series. Alright, so as you guys can see, another ROM hack that you will see me play is Super Mario Bros. Super Mario World. So what is Lunar Magic? Here's a little introduction, and what you see here is Lunar Magic. Lunar Magic is a software that allows you to create ROM hacks for Super Mario World. It has the assets from the game which you can use to create levels, worlds, and much more. Custom mechanics and custom boss battles can also be made using Lunar Magic. And as you can see here, we have several windows of Lunar Magic on the board, including the overworld editor, the layer 2 tile editor, the sprites window, and a map from said Lunar Magic. Anybody recognize some of these photos? If you do, it's from Project Yuuki, my very own demo ROM hack. And as you guys can see here are some screenshots from my ROM hack that I'm making for you guys, Project Yuki, which already has a demo up on the board. And you guys can look at links in the description below. So we have level 3 on the left, level 1 on the right. On the bottom left, we have the World 1 overworld, and on the right of that, we have level 2. So, are you ready to make your very own ROM hack? Because in the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at Lunar Magic and how to use it. But first, here's what you will need. You will need an emulator, something like SNES 9X, or some type of SNES emulator. I use SNES 9X because I'm used to it. Everything will be provided in the description below except for one thing, a clean copy of Super Mario World, clean ROM. Unfortunately, due to rules, I cannot provide the link for this one. You will need to go Google that. You will also need Lunar Magic, the software itself. Link will be in the description. And if you guys want to play or upload these ROM hacks, you also need something called flips, which I'll show you guys how to use in later on in this tutorial series. Link will be in the description as always below. Now here's how the series will be broken down. You may see that there are different episodes in this case, and you may have noticed there are like sub parts. If you guys study math book or like algebra, you know they have like solving equations like chapter 3, then 3.1 you need to learn how to solve for x. Well, I'm going to show you guys how to do that in this one. So in episode 2, next episode, we're going to learn how to get started with Lunar Magic. And I'm going to show you how to get started, the user interface, editor modes, the sprites and objects, normal exits, making your first map, and set up emulators for testing. In episode 3, we're going to first take a look at the overworld editor. Again, I'm going to show you how it works, the UI, the editor modes, making a sample overworld. We're going to talk about pathing, adding levels to the map, and message boxes. Episode 3 will take one step further in the overworld editor, and we're going to take a look at subworlds and star world. That's for episode 4. We're going to talk about pipes and stars, viewing star and transition coordinates. We're going to learn how to give you guys identifiers and coordinates. I'm going to teach you guys how to read these said coordinates, and we're going to test out how to test them out. In episode 5, we're going to learn about pipes, doors, and screen exits. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to introduce you guys to screen exits. And if there's an error, you're going to lead to level 0, which actually looks like the bonus states, but there's a glitch in there. How to set up a pipe and door. We're going to show you guys how to check for screen exits. And I'm going to show you guys how to test to make sure everything works correctly. The second half of the series, we'll talk about the backside. We're going to talk about the workflow in episode 6. I'm going to make it how to make it easy to work with for Lunar Magic and the overworld editor. There's going to be a lot of windows. We're going to talk a lot about window management and learn how to work with what we are working with in episode 6. Episode 7 is the one you really want to work for. Episode 7 is the big boy. You want to learn how to upload ROM hacks. We're going to introduce you to SMW Central. We're going to talk about how to use flips to create patches. Folder contents, you need to learn which ones to zip up. Uploading to SMW Central, we're going to learn how to do that. Notes to consider, and finally, you can say you make a ROM hack in episode 7. Our bonus episode features a how to make the next part better. So let's say that you want to continue making this ROM hack and you want to make more worlds. We're going to talk a look about optimization. For later builds, we're going to talk about what you need to do to impress, asking for feedback and testers, and finally, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of how to edit the title screen and credits for those of you who want to learn about that. It's actually not bad. It's actually not as bad as you think it is. But I will tell you, the real work begins next episode when you want to start learning how to use Lunar Magic and start to make your own levels. So that's it for this little presentation. Next episode, we're going to get right into the nitty gritty and learn how to use Lunar Magic for the first time. Enjoy, y'all.